You can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great. Because life can get ugly, and art sure can too. What matters is to do it. Let those feelings flow through you.
Hello. Welcome back to the Ugly Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Alexander. I use they, them pronouns, and it's just me today. I'm in my just a regular plain black t-shirt, got my curly hair, my tattoos poking out, my big glasses. I'm just your little androgynous curly-haired weirdo, and it's just me. So my voice is a little under the weather today, but I had the motivation to actually do this, so I'm not going to let this motivation slide away and back into avoidance, as I'll get into in a second why I've been struggling with that lately. So, hi. I've actually done a few of these like solo recordings of just me, but you've never heard them or seen them because I ended up getting a little too embarrassed to publish them. A lot of them were just like pep talks for myself, kind of, and then I kind of, got a little embarrassed and didn't want to publish them for various reasons. So this time I actually have a goal and a plan that I'm going to be referencing on what I'm actually here to talk to you about today. I'm going to try a little bit more organization on the Ugly Podcast for this one at least. So yeah, I first started making this podcast because I had discovered that I was more creative than I had been giving myself credit for. I had spent the first 30 years of my life thinking that I was not a creative person. If you've been listening to this show consistently, you know a lot of my story. If this is the first episode that you're listening to, hello, I'm Laura, like I said. Anyway, so I didn't think I was creative for a very long time. And then once I started making this intentionally ugly art, doing this regularly, I realized like, oh, I'm a lot more creative than I had thought. And I think that that's probably true of a lot of people. And I instantly went into kind of teacher mode and like wanting to take what I had learned about myself and share it with others, because that's generally just what I like to do. I like to discover things and then I like to tell people about it in case it's helpful for them. It's just kind of part of my personality, part of what I have always been like, from the time when I was a Christian and wanted to tell other people about Christianity to when I left Christianity and wanted to tell other Christians about leaving Christianity. um, and now this. So I started this podcast wanting to share that with you all. But I had no intention of making it more professional, hence the name, The Ugly Podcast. I wanted this to just be a place where it could be bad. But along the way of making this podcast and expanding my business, I started to see myself as needing to be an expert. And Maria Bowler, who's a creativity coach person on the interwebs, she's great. I don't know her personally, but Maria, you are lovely, and I like a lot of your stuff. But she made a post the other day about maybe you're a seeker who thinks they need to be an expert, and that was a slap in the face to me, because I think that's precisely what I've been doing, especially because I've been wanting to make coaching more of a central focus for my business. I've been wanting to put on more workshops. So automatically my mind is like, well, I have to know everything and I have to be able to be an expert on this topic of creativity. And that's been very stressful. And that's been making me not want to do this. And it didn't really hit me that that's what was happening until I heard that prompt. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's totally it. But in the lead up to hearing that prompt, I had been reconsidering what I want to be doing. So, what I want to be doing with this podcast going forward is one, I'm still going to be doing the interviews with amazing creatives. And I'm also going to be, at least this is the intention. Let's see if I follow through. Fingers crossed that I follow through. The second point is doing these like mini episodes and sharing with you what I am experiencing, what I am struggling with, and what I'm looking at going forward, or maybe some of my successes or whatever. Like, I want this to be kind of a place where I am continuing to seek and share what I'm discovering without it being like I have to have all the answers. Because that's just the pressure that I put on myself. I think, one of the messages from growing up has always been like, well, as you get older, you get more experience, you become the expert, you know everything, you no longer have to ask any questions. And that's been such a harmful way of thinking for me to get out of. And like, I always catch myself and revert back, but it's just a thought pathway that I get stuck in. So I'm trying really hard not to get stuck in that. So I wanted to just check in with you now about like where my creative journey is at right now, because a lot of my creativity kind of got pushed back when I started going full on advertising for my workshops. Once I did the Spaceworks program here in Tacoma, where I was really focusing on my business and the creativity coaching aspect of my business, my own creative expression got put on the back burner. And recently I've been realizing how much I miss it. And so I'm wanting to really return to that. So one of the things that has helped me come back to that has been getting involved in the Tacoma Night Market with Leah, who runs it. She's amazing. And I did a community painting at the Tacoma Night Market where I had a canvas and I invited people to come leave their mark, express themselves using just color and squiggles. And when I did that, I had this thought that I could then offer people my feelings paintings that I have made over the years. I have hundreds of them. And so I thought that'd be a cute thing to kind of exchange. So you put your feeling on the canvas with the rest of your community, and I share a feeling painting with you. And Leah loved this idea and loved my little paintings and offered to actually like fully display them on a wall. Just so there's like 50 of them or so sprawled out across this pegboard wall, and it looks pretty cool. So I've been doing that. I think they've been up for about 2 months now at the night market. I've actually been selling them. At first, I was like, no, it's just you can give it's still give a donation, but now there's like a suggested donation, and people have been paying me for my work, which is really cool. And like by capitalism standards, that's like the check mark of like you're a real artist. Someone paid you for your work, which we know here at the Ugly Podcast that is not a good measurement for success, or not a good measurement for determining whether you are an artist or not. That does not matter. And at the same time, this is the world that we live in, and so it does feel nice to kind of feel recognized on that scale as an artist, I guess. So that's been kind of fun and interesting. And that because I've had them up on the wall and people have been taking them, I've had to make more because like, oh, I'm going to run out of these if people keep taking them at the rate that they are. So I've gotten back into my feelings painting routine of doing at least one a day. Trying to. Obviously, one a day is still pretty ambitious if, I'm not going to do it every day. Anyway, so in getting back into this practice, a lot of my old goals have started showing back up because I'm painting almost daily and remembering how much I love it. and remembering that I wanted to try larger scale paintings, and remembering that I wanted that's why I bought some canvas stretchers, and I have a giant roll of canvas sitting here that I wanted to start doing canvas paintings. And I have been hardcore avoiding it with all my might, making up excuses that I have other things going on, kind of avoiding wanting like going to the store and buying acrylic paint, just full on avoiding all of it, because that is the new thing that I'm wanting to do, is like has me back in that perfectionist mindset of, well, because I've advanced to a certain point with like my watercolors and I feel more competent again, like that feeling of, oh, I'm an expert now. I'm not, but like I have more of a grasp on what I'm doing. So then it's like, well, now I don't want to try something new because then I'll be bad at it again, you know. So I'm getting stuck in that. And but coming back to my feelings paintings and getting back into the routine of doing those has really put that pressure and that motivation in the back of my head to like creep a little forward and be like, hey, you want to do this and you know that this is something that you're interested in and that you want to express yourself in this. So I've actually taken steps now to fully start that. I'm starting a intuitive painting class, which again, you don't have to start classes if you're like, you can just start and do the bad thing, you know. But like sometimes if you just need that kick in the pants to just have somebody else put the materials out for you, do that. So I'm starting that in November. I will let you know. Next on the next minisode how that goes. But it's weekly, starting in November through like mid-December, of intuitive painting classes, focusing on getting your art, your whatever. It's basically what I do already, but it's just in a class setting that they have the materials already out for you. I don't have to worry about setting up my canvases. I'm just kind of reducing that barrier to entry for myself, essentially. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am. And a lot of this too has been coming up with how much time I waste on social media, and on like the New York Times games on my phone, which, I feel a little bit better about those. And I have made like a rule for myself that I can't have other games on my phone because I will just get fully sucked into them and just waste all my time doing it. If you're somebody who likes games on your phone, this isn't meant to be like a criticism of you. It's more just like for myself. I know that when I get sucked into those things, doom scrolling, playing games on my phone, I will look up and especially this time of year, it will be dark outside. I'll be like, where am I? So I'm really trying to pay attention to each time that I reach for my phone. And actually, this is, I started putting my commonplace book, which is just like this little, kind of phone sized notebook. I've been putting this on top of my phone, and then whenever I go to reach for my phone, I will either put a scribble on in the notebook, or I will like write down what my brain was wanting to do. So like this page is just like reach, pick at, check, text, I Instagram post. It's like each time I go for my phone, I will just document what I'm doing. I'm just trying to like pay attention to what my brain is seeking at any given point, because it's not always that I want to go to Instagram, which I mean, obviously a lot of the time it is. But sometimes it's I just want to check my friends group chat and then somehow I end up on Instagram. It's just like this habit. And so I'm realizing that I want to pay attention to that and start to change some of those habits and just like care for my dopamine receptors differently. Um, so that's one of the reasons why my goal for the end of this year is to get off of Instagram by January. So I've been starting to kind of just put messages out on Instagram being like, "Hey, if you like me here, please make sure you follow me elsewhere." Trying not to like fully be like, "Hey, but the algorithm knows that you're trying to like get people to go elsewhere, and it just squashes your post anyway. So it's kind of discouraging. It's a little scary, but I'm also I've been listening to this podcast called Off the Grid. I'll put details for that in the show notes, and it's been really inspiring me to get more into like a different place in the internet where I feel like I can really just express myself, and I'm not really worried about an algorithm or getting likes on a post. I'm more just worried about getting in the habit of sharing what I'm doing, sharing what I'm making, sharing encouragement, sharing lessons that I'm learning, that kind of thing. So that is all going to be living on my new Substack. Well, it's not a new Substack. I started the Substack when I was going through my divorce a couple of years ago. And I put on a couple, there's some like, you can still see them, they're still up there. I thought it'd be nice to just leave them there. Just like some poems and musings and thoughts about my divorce and what I was feeling then. Um, so those are still there, but now I'm adding to it and sharing more about what I'm doing now. I'm sharing my intentions for this blog post. I'm sharing more daily notes about ongoing things, and I'm trying to just shout more into the void and stop worrying so much about responses, which is hard for me. I like knowing that someone's listening and someone's like, "Yes, I like what you're doing," because I want to add value to people's lives. But also I'm trying to remember that like I'm allowed to exist on the internet and not add value. So, and I'm really just kind of discovering more of myself. I'm like I said, I'm getting more into that seeker mindset instead of thinking that I have to be an expert. I am still seeking. I may always be seeking, and I want to share that process with other people who maybe feel like seeking is very hard for them, because seeking is hard for me. Like I said, avoidance. I've been stuck in avoidance for months. So I guess I just want to demonstrate more of what it's like to be a seeker who is constantly terrified of seeking and who constantly wants to have all the answers. Because I would love to have some answers to all the things that my brain is constantly trying to have answers for. um, Especially just right now, some of the things that I'm exploring in my own art right now are really just like, what does it mean to be a human right now? Why? 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 Just gestures vaguely to myself and says, why? Why are humans the way we are? Why are we so afraid of pleasure and love? Why am I so afraid of pleasure and love? I'm exploring a lot of this, and um, especially as we watch just the wave of authoritarianism, that desperate need for control and to control other people. I feel like is it's just so it's exactly what I've been trying to do to myself, is police myself and keep myself in a box, keep myself controlled for my whole life. And now that I've broken out of that box and allowed myself to be out of control, to just experience and not shame myself, the responses that I get from my body, from my old mindsets, overwhelmingly mirror fascism. And so I'm finding that very interesting. So these are just things that I'm exploring and thinking about. So, like I said, I'm gonna call this here, call it good. Um, this is what's going to happen. I'm gonna be doing these minisodes maybe once a month, like in between my other interview set episodes. And if anybody is listening who's like a long-time listener, thank you. And also, please be sure to make sure you follow me on Substack. That's just Laura Alexander on Substack. You should find me pretty easily. And I'll have it in the show notes, of course. If this is the first episode you've listened to and you like the things that I'm saying, and you're like, sure, yeah, I'll follow along. Again, Substack, please. And I would love, I don't know, let me know. Like, I feel like this podcast kind of goes out into the void, and it's very rare that I actually hear from people. whether or not like something resonated with them. And when I do, it feels really nice. I'm going to keep yelling into the void. So if you're like, no, thank you, I don't want to talk to people, but I like what you're doing, that's totally fine. I appreciate you. I understand your desire to not talk to people. But yeah, if you want to just like let me know that you listen and you like what I'm doing, or if you have like something that like a topic that you're currently struggling with that you want to hear me explore or hear me like find somebody to interview about a certain topic, please let me know. I want to keep making this podcast, and I want to keep just offering nourishment for your own creative journey while also, nourishing myself. So that's the goal. If you are also in Tacoma and would like some like in-person creative time, I'm doing monthly junk journaling at Crafty AF on South Tacoma Way. It's the second Wednesday of every month. So please check it out. Come hang out. And if you like it, you can get $7 off your future sessions. So yeah, it could be good. Could be good. Could be fun. That's all I've got for you. Keep it ugly. Keep making stuff. Lean into cringe. Shout into the void, and hang in there. All right. Goodbye.
The Ugly Podcast is created by me, Laura Alexander of Scribe and Sunshine. It's produced and sort of edited also by me and written and directed by absolutely no one. Our theme song was written and produced by the amazing Zoe Tronic. If you like the podcast, be sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred platform and share with the creative people in your life. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, head to scribeandsunshine.com to learn more about my ugly art workshops and my editing services. If you haven't yet today, I dare you to make that thing you've been thinking about making but have been too scared it's gonna be terrible. Make it terrible. And as always, keep it ugly.
You can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great.